time for Hollywood and Vine, sponsored by Fish in the Dark, the new Broadway comedy written by and starring Larry David. Mr. David co-created Seinfeld, of course, and created and starred in Curb Your Enthusiasm. So you know this play is going to be funny. Previews begin February 2nd. Please welcome to the Imus Morning program, the panelists for Hollywood and Vine, Dagan McDowell, Deidre Imus, Michael Riedel, and Tony Powell. How are you guys?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is Larry David, who is a Scream, is the play going to be funny, Riedel?
Probably. I would bet on Larry David, since pretty much everything he's done has been quite brilliant. But again, I reserve judgment until I actually see the show itself.
What do you think, Dagan?
Funny enough, the odds are good and that I will see it. So, yeah.
Like you reserve judgment on Peter Pan?
Well, you could tell
Peter Pansy, and I was right, was I not, about that one?
Oh, no, you didn't even come close to how awful it was.
The suck was evident on that, but I think Larry David's going to be fine. I said the suck was evident on Peter Pan, but Larry David's going to be hot, I think.
But I can't believe it's how much of Peter Pan you watched. I heard you the other day going on and on. You thought you were Frank Rich there with your little review.
Well, I switched back and forth because football was on. And there was something else on. Maybe I was checking out O'Reilly because I just can't believe how obnoxious he is. But the show's good. It's just him. It's just repugnant. But let me before we get to the Hollywood and Vine scum and all that, the Senate committee is releasing this torture report today, detailing apparently what the CIA did to make people talk about what they did to killing Americans and all that sort of thing. I'll start with you, Rita. What's your view of that?
Well, my feeling, to quote my hero, Barry Goldwater, extremism in defense of liberty is no vice. I have never lost one wink of sleep over the waterboarding of people who want to behead Americans and blow up our buildings. Secondly, that report is being put out by Democrats. It is an agenda to attack Bush and Cheney. That report is going to be so partisan, it could have been written by Alan Combs and Rachel Maddow. It's a left-wing assault on the Bush administration.
And Dagan, you think?
There's no upside to releasing it now. It puts Americans overseas in jeopardy. There have been, the State Department said that. There have been warnings, security alerts to those overseas. These practices stopped years ago. It is purely partisan and disgusting.
Is there any evidence?
They're both right. I agree.
Okay. Is there any evidence?
I don't agree. I think that's
of course you don't, Tony.
Of course I don't. You know why? Let me say this. First of all, torture is done in our names. They don't blame the CIA. The victims of torture are not going to blame the CIA. They blame America for what they've done. So then we can't turn around and act like little bitches when they come and do something heinous to us. We have brought this on ourselves, and so the blowback that comes is what we brought on ourselves. So you can't sit around and go, well, I think we should do this, and I have no problem with extremism.
We don't do it anymore.
But
and there's nothing in it
It's been done, and that's what the whole point of an after action is. If you give up liberty for security, you deserve neither liberty nor security.
So let's put people in jeopardy who had nothing to do with it, who were overseas now, just to prove a point.
You just got yourself a job on MSNBC, Tony.
You traveled to Yemen, you already putting yourself in jeopardy.
What if the CIA broke the law and lied to Congress? Do you have a problem with that, Deirdre?
I'm not sure if I have a problem.
How about you, Riddle?
No, I don't have a problem with it.
You don't have a problem
I
with the
agree with
CIA
Katie
lying.
McClellan. Back in the time,
You have no problem.
No, when the World Trade Center was attacked, we did not know if there was another attack coming. We had to do everything possible
Bin Laden
to
determined
defend
to strike
ourselves.
America. That's pretty forthcoming. Come on now. Go ahead.
Well, no, go ahead. I mean, what
Aggravated, man. It's just crazy.
Dagan, do you have any problem if the CIA broke the law and lied to Congress?
But I think that's no, I don't.
If they lied to Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi, I'd say give them a medal.
No,
Meanwhile, you're asking that question, and all the politicians lie, Tony.
We are our government.
And has there been an attack on America since the World Trade Center?
If you talk at once, simultaneously, you can't hear anything. And I'm going to shut your mics off like I shut Bose off, and then he starts whining, and you can whine too. I don't care.
Tony and I sound like Hannity and Tavis Smiley last night on his show. They were screaming at each other.
Each of you are entitled to your opinion, and we ought to respect, well, not respect each other, but one another.
Well, I do respect, we do respect, but you don't have to agree. So that's fine too.
You care what my view is?
Yes, I do.
I think that I don't know. I really don't.
Well, thanks for clearing that up.
I don't think that the CIA should violate the law, and I don't think they should lie to Congress. But I'm unsure about. I don't see
releasing the report.
I don't see what's the point of releasing a report.
Right.
I mean, if we want to take measures to prosecute or discipline people in the CIA, then do that. But
Well, how did you
that
feel
seems
about
to make common sense. But I am willing to be corrected on my view.
How did you feel about the Pentagon Papers or the information that came out after Watergate?
I think they should have waterboarded Ellsberg when they released Pentagon Papers. That's what I think.
Exactly. He violated the law in releasing those papers.
Yeah, I don't. But I'm conflicted about it, so I don't know.
I think probably
Well,
these
there's
things.
pros and cons. I don't think it's so cut and dry. You're right. And I don't know enough. I think if we had all the details, but Tony, do you really think it's that cut and dry?
No, I just said that, and I'm quoting Ben Franklin. When you give up liberty for security, you deserve neither liberty nor security, and I think that's what we're talking about.
Tony from downtown.
Ben,
Tony from beyond the arc.
So now we do.
Pansy.
So now
No,
we
he
do
wasn't. He
know
was a
where you
vegetarian.
stand for the next
He was a
5
pansy.
minutes.
What?
Now
Go
we do
fly a
know.
kite, Tony.
Well, I don't know. I
Franklin.
mean, all right, let's talk about, we're doing Hollywood and Vine. We haven't got to the Finocchios in Hollywood yet because we don't have time. This UVA, this University of Virginia sex story in Rolling Stone appears to, Rolling Stone is trying to, has what did they do? What did they do?
They screwed the story up. They did
Big
not.
time.
They did not fact check the story
Right.
the
Sloppy,
way that
lazy.
they would another story.
Okay.
You get into trouble as a journalist when you want to believe beyond even slivers of a doubt in the story of the subject, and that's what happened. Initially, in their retraction, Rolling Stone kind of blamed the victim, and then they had to
The reason
rewrite it.
the reason they screwed up is Rolling Stone is a left-wing magazine that believes that rich fraternities full of rich white guys are going to gang rape women because they're evil. This story played right into their beliefs, and it was too good to check.
It's worth noting.
And
Isn't
they
that where
wanted
you
to
went to
attack
college,
UVA.
Tony?
That's exactly where I went to school.
Okay, you must have been in a fraternity.
No, I was not.
Oh, you
Not in a
weren't?
fraternity. I was not in a fraternity. But here's what I'll say about this. I mean, I think Rolling Stone dropped the ball on fact checks and their due diligence. But it doesn't mean that something did not happen to that young lady. And I think that's the mistake that people are making. They're going the other way, and that creates damage for any other woman who was raped or
Right,
assaulted
but
on
it goes
campus.
back to Rolling Stone then, exactly what you said. That's why this is so deep and damaging, because now how do we know that she has any credibility? And
Even her
yes, like
friends
you
are doubting
said,
her right
something
now.
could have happened, but now it's
But it's
so
not
distorted.
the fault of the alleged victim.
No, it's
It is
not.
the fault of this magazine,
yes,
for
it's the
now
magazine.
discouraging women who were sexually assaulted from coming forward,
It's-
and
it's-
people on the internet outing this woman and printing her name and
Right.
personal information about her, calling her a liar.
How about
It's like-
outing this guy they called Drew? The real name of that guy's been around the internet too. This guy's been accused without even being given the chance to respond to the accusations. But I want to ask you, Tony. You were at UVA.
Yes.
Was there this kind of culture? Did you recognize UVA as portrayed in Rolling Stone?
It did not seem unfamiliar, and I'll say this, and this is a long,
He was
a long time ago, but I will say that in that environment, in that fraternity environment, fraternity row, a lot of times there were some drunken bacchanals, and I knew girls, and I would say, listen, I'm not sure if you really want to go down there or be in that state, or I'd see them out and say, yo, you should probably head on home. I'm not saying that this was going on, but I'm not saying that it wasn't going on. And so when I initially heard the story, it didn't make me go, oh my God, how could it possibly happen there? I thought to myself, well,
The Rolling
yeah.
Stone reporter shopped around for the best
Absolutely,
rape
yeah.
story.
Exactly.
They looked at a number of different
right.
colleges. They set out to report a story about sexual assault on campus and found a really good rape to tell people about. And
Well,
she looked for someone who was willing to talk.
her credibility, she's disgraceful in my view.
She's with Jason Blair and Janet Cook.
Yeah, I mean,
they agreed to not try and contact any of alleged assailants.
She even
which
said
is a mistake.
by the way, she was on every single NPR show there is because
Of
they were
course.
slobbering all over the story. And she actually said on these shows, she said, I was looking for a university that fit my criteria.
Again, look at the agenda here in the big picture with politics. The liberals are looking because it's this
yeah,
fake
but it was
war
a liberal,
on women.
But it was a
you know?
liberal newspaper, the Washington Post, that did incredible reporting work to uncover
Right.
this falsehood
Otherwise,
and this
the
bad
story's
story
not-
in
yeah.
Rolling
Okay,
Stone.
now digressing dramatically here at 14 or almost. Why are you nodding your head like a?
I was hoping you would digress. Or
13
digress
till they
soon.
are. Yeah.
Get to his dry cleaning.
The new.
Yeah.
I'm going to sue him. I'm getting Arthur Adele on the phone. I'm going to sue those bastards.
That's what I'm
Alec.
saying.
See that shirt? See that?
Look at it,
But
Tony.
here's the thing. Every time you
send
show
it-
Wait a
us
minute, why
wrinkles
can't-
on your shirt, I have to look
Why
at your
can't
neck.
what?
Why can't you just call Mr. Halleck? He's the one who came over and did get that stain out of our new chair, by the way.
Okay,
Like,
fine, I know
with a
that.
non-
Didn't you have him in
with-
his
your-
Depends the other day?
Go
with
ahead.
a non-
Why
with
can't
a
I share?
non-toxic solution too. But why can't you just tell them they didn't do what they're supposed to? Because you're right, I see that the
Because
shirt
I've
looks,
done it for 15 years.
the shirt looks awful. So just you shouldn't have to pay for
I'm
it.
not gonna pay for it.
Right. So
I'm gonna
just tell
sue
them
'em.
you're not going to pay for it, and they should agree
I'm gonna sue
to
them.
not charge you.
You call them and tell them to come get it and redo it.
No,
for
no, but I
free.
don't want to. Why should I have to do that?
Take him out to
Instead,
lunch
you're
at
gonna hire
Premola
a-
and calm
All right.
down.
Anyway, here,
Honey,
enough of that.
come on.
Quiet.
All right.
The new Bond movie is going to feature a 50-year-old Bond girl. Now,
Love it.
ordinarily,
Love it.
but Deirdre is 50.
She could be a
And
Bond girl.
this sounds
absolutely.
self-serving, but there's few better-looking women on the planet than Deirdre, with a better figure and all that.
Unfortunately, you don't look like Daniel Craig.
Oh,
Daniel Craig looks and smells like old cheese,
Here's my
and
problem.
that's what's
no,
disgusting.
actually, it would. These
Oh,
Bond
close to that,
movies
man.
are so
Son of a
formulaic
bitch.
that they're so boring that this would be
You know,
better to have an older woman with
let
a
me tell you
younger
something.
man.
If you're
Even.
going to
Here's
go old,
what
I go
bothers
Helen
me,
Mirren.
Isn't it?
Helen Mirren. She's
from
the cougar of all cougars.
from the time we started this edition of Hollywood and Vine, because I drink so much water now, I have had to pee so bad that I take Big Roy and then give him a drink that this thing is over so I can go water my
Call the
snake.
cleaners to get the spot out of his chair again.